Her hair is becoming darker every day. She dyed her hair. She wants to look more like an Indian person, huh? But the other day her hair was lighter brown color. Before that it was blonde color. What's your real color? Light brown, dark brown. That means dark brown? Okay. Harsho. How does this go again? It's loose. Which one? This one? No. Huh? What? No, it was loose. If I go like this or something, then it becomes loose. How do you tighten it? Okay, Jai Saparikar. Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Jiu Ki Jai Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astotar Sata Shri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gorakishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhaum Shri Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charja Baladev Vijayabhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Trai Ki Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sadhu Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Srila Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Gaur Parsada Vrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Antar Dweep Mayapur Simanta Dweep Kodram Dweep Madhya Dweep Kola Dweep Ritu Dweep Chana Dweep Moda Druma Dweep Rudadweep Atmaka Shri Shri Nava Dweep Dhamma Ki Jai Jai Shri Purushottam Kshetra Shri Jagannath Puri Dhamma Ki Jai Jai Shri Braj Mandala Dhamma Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvadashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dhamma Ki Jai Yama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Radha Gopinath Radha Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu Ki Jai Srimati Lalita Vishaka Adi Ashtasaki Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Rupa Manjari Rati Manjari Adi Manjari Vrinda Ki Jai Shrimati Brinda Devi ki jai, Shrimati Purnamasi Yogamaya Devi ki jai, Shri Gopishwar Mahadev ki jai, Sarva Bhishta Pradata Giriraj Govardhana ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakrajiu ki jai, Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shrina Shringadev ki jai, Bhakta Pravara Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Charo Dham, Charo Sampradaya, Charo Acharya ki jai, Akara Matraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai, Aur Ananya Shakamat Samuha ki jai, Shri Vishva Vaishnav Raj Sabha ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Tribhuvana Pavana Harinam Samkirtana ki jai, Tribhuvana Mangala Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai, Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Shri Nityananda Mahajana ki jai, Shri Pancha Tattva ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Prema Anandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jataha Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Kuroti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yad Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatya Desatarane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namane Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Audaurya Madhurya Gunaishtra Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirasha Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabja Dritaika Hridi Chaitanya Lilamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswaminiti Namane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Acharya Singha Rupane Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Kesavaiti Namane Atimartya Charitraya Swasritanancha Palane Jiva Dukke Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Namane Shri Varshavana Videvi Dayataya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtai Dinatarane Rupanuga Viruddhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharane Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtai Vipralambara Sambodhe Padambuja Te Nama Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Mahabhajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauda Trishe Namah Nityanandam Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jayatam Suruto Pangor Mama Mandamater Gati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagada Singhashanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestalabhi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambi Vamshivata Tatakstitaha Karsan Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparadha Lakshay Kshiptascha Kamadi Taranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prabhanna Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Vrindai Tulsi Devgai Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Amazon Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Yes, Amazon, yes. Coming now, coming. Hare Krishna. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Maharaj, you want to sing Sri Guru Charana Padma? Do us the honors.
Shri Guru Charana Padma
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalava Kati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalava Kati Sadma Put it closer to his mouth. Vadonmui Savadana Mate
Vandamui Savadana Mate
Vandonmui Savadana Mate
Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhavatoriya
Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhavatoriya
Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaoite
Krishna Prapti Hoy Hoite
Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaoite
Krishna Prapti Hoy Hoite
Guru Mukha Padmanabha Chitte Te Koriya
Guru Mukha Padmanabha Chitte Te Koriya
Arana Koriyo Mane Asha
Arna Koriho Mane Asha
Arana Koriyo Mane Asha
Arana Koriho Mane Asha
Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati
Oh Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati
Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati
Oh Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati
Jai Prasare Pure Sarvasya
Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha
Jai Prasare Pure Sarvasya
Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha
Chakudano Dilo Jai Jane Jane Prabhu Se
Chakudana Diloje Janme Janme Prabhu Se
Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita
Vidya Gyan Hriday Prakashita
Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita
Divya Gyan ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित
प्रेम भक्ति जायते अविद्या विनाशायते
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 वेदे गाय जहराचरिता
वेदे गाय जहराचरिता
वेदे गाय जहराचरिता
वेदे गाय जहराचरिता
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु परम जनार बंधु
गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आगम जनार बंधु
गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु
लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना
प्रभु पारा लोकेरा जीवाना
प्रभुपाद लोकेरा जीवाना
प्रभु करो दया दया मोरे पारा छाया
महाप्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पदचया
प्रभु करो दया दया मोरे पारा छाया
प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पदचया
द्वापरे लायला सराना
द्वापरे गौरीं शरणा
देवी आस कुसुति भुवाना
वेदास कुसुति भुवना
लीला गुरुदेव पतित पवना
गुरुदेव पतित पवना
जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव
जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय पतित पावन गुरुदेव जय पतित पावन प्रभुपदा
जय पतित पावन जय गुरुदेवा पतित पावन जय गुरु
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव
जय गुरुदेव 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 गुरुदेव
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री
गौर हरि
चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Bolo
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Yasoda Nandana Krishna Hare Hare
Yashoda Nandana Krishna Hare Hare.
Radhika Rama Rama Hare Hare
Radhika Ramana Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Jaya Sachidananda Jaya Gaurari Sachidananda Jaya Gaurari
Jaya Sachidananda Jaya Gaura Hare. Sachidananda Jaya Gaura Hare.
Nitai Hai Gaura Hai Nitai Hai Gaura Hai
Nitai Hai Gaura Hai. Nitai Hai Gaura Hai.
Nitai Gaurari Bo Haribo Gaurari Bo
Nitai Gaur Haribo Haribo Haribo.
Nitai Gaurari Bo Haribo Gaurari Bo
Nitai Gaur Haribo Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Premanandi
Nitai
Nitai Gaura
Hari Hari Bol Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe
Jai. Okay. Can that microphone, can it be taken off of the microphone stand if we want to pass it around for devotees to speak into? Or yes or no? Just tell me.
Yes.
Okay, leave it. Okay, so now we're continuing. We haven't barely begun. Because guess what? There's about 5 books that we're going to go through. We just scratched the surface. But the surface that we scratched is the final surface. What we just read in the final chapter of Jaiva Dharma. However, I'm also exploring the chapters before that. And it's amazing. Especially the chapter just before, chapter 39. Because in chapter 40, the terminologies and everything that were being used, they were already mentioned and introduced by Gopal Guru Goswami earlier. Such as Ekadas Bhavs is a very important terminology. For a neophyte devotee, it's not necessary for them to necessarily know about that, but they can hear about it. They can hear about it. They can hear about the 11 items of the spiritual body. Ekadas Bhavs. 11. And this is really what Gurudev used to say. He said that first you have to fix your goal. What is your sadhya? Remember how Gurudev would say that? He said first you have to do that. You have to fix your goal. And then you can fix the sadhana that is required to reach that goal.
He said if you go to an airport and say, I want to buy a ticket, I say, okay, very good, we can help you, sir. Where do you want to go? No, I just want to buy a ticket.
Yes. So you need to know where you want to go. And this whole Jaiva Dharma, everything that has been spoken in all 3 parts of the Jaiva Dharma is meant to ultimately lead us to this final goal. If we are not anticipating, if we are not having a hope that one day this final goal will be attained by me, just leave it. Just leave it. Okay. If we are not anticipating that one day in the future this final goal will be attained by me, then it will not be attained. It will not be attained. It doesn't matter how much you chant, even the Mahamantra. Of course, chanting the Mahamantra, many things will be accomplished. But we have learned that there is a necessity of also hearing. Hearing what? What was the main topic that was presented in this final chapter? Again and again and again. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu. You must hear Krishna's pastimes, which includes his name, his form, his qualities, his associates, his dhamma, everything. So Vijay Kumar is the example. He is actually the example of what one day we will have to become. One day we will have to become exactly the condition that Vijay Kumar is experiencing. Does that sound possible to us? One day we will have to become. No, that may sound not possible to us at the present time. However, it must come. Absolutely must come. And it will come if we follow the process properly. And that's why the Upadeshamrita is so important. Even for the beginning level Vaishnavas, it's extremely important. Because if they do not follow the process exactly as it has been given, with the 6, those, and then sadhu sangha, who to associate with, how to associate with them, so forth. And then how to chant the holy names. And then becoming absorbed 24 hours a day, 8th shloka. And then, once you've done that, then you can begin to cultivate this desire to actually one day attain Palyadasi Bhav of Srimati Radhika. Prior to that, it's what we were hearing is kramahin shravana. Kramahin means without any particular order, disorganized. But all hearing is good for different levels of Vaishnavas. The different levels of Vaishnavas have to also hear different levels. Yes or no? If a neophyte devotee is trying to hear about Palyadasi Bhav, is that appropriate? If that's what they're focusing on and trying to cultivate all the time? No? Did our Gurudev approve of that? No. Any examples? I have an example. You have any? Where Gurudev specifically did not approve about that.
He talked about jumping to the top of the tree. I'm not going to get any personal devotee there, but he just in general he said, I don't think you should jump to the top of the tree. You have to go step by step.
Yes. In Russia, 2004, Volgograd, 2004. There was this group of devotees, chief of which, some of them just simply left Gurudev after some time. What were they propounding there to the Russian devotees? They were propounding what they concluded is the process. And in essence, what it was, all you have to do is hear Rasa Katha. That's it. That's what they were propounding at that time. And these are absolutely neophyte devotees. But now they think they've become so advanced because they're hearing about these higher subject matters. And now they draw their own conclusion that all you have to do is hear Rasa Katha only, not other Katha. Just this, Rasa Katha. So what did Gurudev instruct in this regard, publicly, from the stage to all the devotees? Can you think what he must have told? He says, no, you have to follow the whole process. You have to follow the Upadeshamrita from verse 1. If someone doesn't follow verse 1 of Upadeshamrita, impossible to enter Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti, Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Impossible. It's not possible. Without controlling the mind and the senses, without tolerating the urges that are inherent in the conditioned stage of the material body and the subtle body and so forth. If one cannot do that, they've barely even taken step number 1. But what do we actually see in reality is that we see that the vast majority of the devotees, when we say devotees, I'm talking about very beginning level persons who are just beginning to try to practice bhakti in their life. Whether they are from Bengal or whether they're from foreign countries, it doesn't matter. This verse 1, Srila Gurudev used to say, this is the thunderbolt for who? Prakrita Sahajiyas, who want to skip the essential necessary steps. And as you just told, like Gurudev told, try to jump up to the top of the tree and take the fruits. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, no. You will have to take the trouble to climb the tree. You have to climb the tree till the fruits are within the distance of your grasp, and then only can you now take those fruits. So what does climbing the tree mean in this context? It means applying the process in your life. Every single day of your life. Not just Sunday or Saturday, like the very low-level so-called religions tell. No. Whether it's Saturday or Sunday, oh, this is our holy day, our special day of the week. No. That was the thing that impressed me about this process when I first came to the temple and I first learned about this great science of Bhagavad Gita and everything, is that this is a daily practice, and it's actually meant to be applied 24 hours a day in a regulated fashion. Very different from what was being taught in Christianity or Muslim or any other. So those are not actual dharmas. They're called upadharma, sub-religion. They're some low level for persons who cannot control their mind and senses. They cannot apply, they cannot understand yet. So for them, these sub-religions, and there's unlimited numbers of them, not just the major ones. And it's constantly continuing to expand the number of apasampradayas. That they are not actually in the sampradaic line. This is the normal thing in the material world. The unusual thing is that somebody will actually stay very fixed on the path. Very fixed, with great Guru Nishtha, following the instructions of Guru, even if there is some fault, but I move forward, you see. Not that they're perfect yet. Some anarthas are there. Some difficulty, struggle may be there. But in course of time, gradually one will rise up to Nishtha. When the anarthas have been significantly removed, then one can rise up to the level of Nishtha. And in Nishtha stage, now there's no doubt at all. Now in the Nishtha stage, there's the dawning of Tattva Siddhanta, actual knowledge of Tattva Siddhanta in the heart. This all comes about gradually, step by step. So, there is a curriculum. Just like if you go to a university, you enroll in a university. You want to become whatever. You have some objective that you want to obtain, usually getting a certain type of education in a certain field that attracts you, that you want to spend your life doing that type of work. That's okay. That's all on the material level. That's natural. Because what does Krishna say? When he's talking about this 4 divisions of human society. What's that verse? Huh? What is it? No, that's the 4 types of Sukritina. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam. Guna. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasha. So in the human society, Krishna has already made a natural arrangement where the human beings fit into one of these 4 categories by what? By their qualities. And by what kind of work they're attracted to do and they're capable to do. Those are the two criterion. Not birth, not janma, but by guna karma. Then they fit into that. That's why India has become degraded. India, over many hundreds of years, has become very degraded. They have lost the proper, pure spirituality that was there for thousands and millions of years. Why? Because Varnashram is destroyed. And now what we have is the semblance called the caste system, where you have a person who is thinking that because they're born into a particular family, gotra, caste like this, they think that automatically that's what they are. Oh, I'm born in a Brahmin gotra, therefore I'm a Brahmana. Is that true or not? Why? Why is it not true?
It is true, but they think so.
What do you mean it's true?
No, actually I just wanted to make it.
Yeah. Is it true or not that they are now a Brahmana? You can call them a Brahmana because they're born into a so-called Brahmin gotra.
It could be true as long as they're developing the quality. Just like if you're born in a doctor's family, you have maybe had a tendency to become a doctor yourself. But until you go to the university and get a degree, you're not a doctor.
That's right. If you have two things, guna and karma, that's the deciding factor. So a 2 paisa Brahmin thread around the shoulder has absolutely zero and less than zero significance. Only if somebody has become qualified, there's the word quality, qualified. They have the quality. And they are capable to perform that work according to that varna and ashrama. You see? But nowadays, it's false ego only. There's a fantastic book by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's called Brahmins and Vaishnavas. And it's based upon a lecture that he gave in Dinajpur, I think it was, in West Bengal. And he had to come there because there was a big conference and there was going to be a big debate. Between who? Between the Brahmin, caste Brahmins, and the Vaishnavas. So the title is Brahmins and Vaishnavas. So there was certain persons representing, they were representing each side. And they were given some opportunity to speak. So first of all, the Brahmins spoke. They were given the first half of the whole day. And they quoted many, many verses from Shastras. How the Brahmins are the most exalted, how the Brahmins are most dear to Bhagavan, and so forth. So many, like this. And that they are in a greater and higher position than the Vaishnavas. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this is the first time he ever appeared in a public scenario of a big, huge debate. There were thousands of people there listening. And there were policemen there and everything. So, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not well. He could not go. So he appointed, at that time, I think he was he initiated at that time by Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji? I think so. I'm not sure.
Not initiated.
What year was it?
Studying his college that time. Actually, he said that, Father, you allow me to go. Actually,
Yeah.
Gokul was very sick that time.
Okay.
So Gokul was very curious whether he will perform well or not. So he was very curious. So
Yeah.
Gokul said, please, Father, allow me to go.
Okay. Where did you read that?
One Bengali chapter.
Okay. Anyway, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was already known as Siddhanta Saraswati at that time. Why was he called Siddhanta Saraswati? Huh? Yes. Yeah, the most exalted amongst the astrologers gave him that title. He was fully learned, perfected. So genius personality, most exalted, intelligent personality. So he went to that conference, and now the Vaishnava assembly selected him to be the person who would present the position of the Vaishnavas. And so when he came into the assembly now, he offered his pranams and he began to speak. And for a few hours, at first, he was quoting many shlokas which show how exalted the Brahmins are. So the Brahmins were like beaming and they were very happy. Just see, he's supporting our position like this, you see. So, but then he began to speak about the glorious position of the Vaishnavas, and he quoted dozens and dozens of shlokas from Shastra, and in the side of the Brahmanas, their faces all became, their smiles were disappearing. So what Srila Prabhupada at that time, no, he hadn't had his initiated name yet, Vimala Prasad Datta. Vimala Prasad Datta. So he began to conclude his lecture. And this lecture had gone on for about 3-4 hours. It went on like that. At that time, it was so vividly clear to everyone that he had completely conquered all the presentation of the Brahmin side by proving that the position of the Vaishnava is paramount in the Vedas. And one important point is that, what is a Brahmana? What is the definition of a Brahmana? Yes. Brahmano janati iti Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who knows and has realized Brahma, Parabrahma. Parabrahma is Bhagavan. And so how can a non-Vaishnava Brahmin truly be called a Brahmana if he has not realized Brahma? This is the definition of an actual Brahmana. And the point is that a Vaishnava is, by the very definition of a Vaishnava, worshipping the Supreme Absolute Truth, Vishnu, Krishna, Bhagavan. And a perfected Vaishnava is automatically a Brahmana. Automatically a Brahmana.
Same thing is happening with present Vaishnavas.
With what?
With present Vaishnavas.
Present Vaishnavas.
If you go to Shantipurna, you can see that the public protectors, Bhavans, the family members, they are not initiated. They don't wear Shimala or Tilas. They are all non-vegetarians.
They're all what? Non-vegetarian.
They are living Diksha.
Yes.
They are living Diksha. If you go to Mahaprabhu here,
Yeah.
all the 4 or 5 members, they are all non-vegetarian. They are living Diksha also.
Yeah.
Vishnudeya house, they are Mananjapara.
And where?
Vishnudeya house, Mananjapara. Two houses, Vishnudeya house, they are in Navati. One in Mahaprabhu Bari, and the second one is Mananjapara.
In the Yog Peeth, you mean?
No, they are Navati. Vishnudeya's house, 2 houses.
Oh, Vishnu Priya Devi's house. On this side or on the other side of Ganga? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
2 houses.
Yeah.
2 houses.
Yeah, so, and so the position of the Vaishnava is automatically superior to the position of a Brahmana. But but it includes the position of a Brahmana. However, a Brahmana, however learned in various shastras that Brahmana may be, if he himself has not realized Brahma, Parabrahma, and he himself is not a worshipper of Parabrahma, but he's worshipping demigods, or he's doing karma kanda and this and that, then he's not actually a Brahmana. That's the most strict definition. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at that conference, he was, the audience became mad in ecstasy when the conference was concluded and it was admitted that he has given the commanding explanation. And so he has been victorious in this debate by proving that the Vaishnavas are in the highest position. So then what happened was, there were thousands of people there. And as we mentioned, this is his first appearance publicly. Many people knew who Kedarnath Datta is, his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but now they're hearing for the first time. And they went mad. They all rushed forward to touch his feet by the hundreds of people, you know. So the police who were there, they had to give some enforcement. So they purposely held back the crowds, and then they brought like a big, huge, some kind of big, huge container, and they put Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur inside of this, like a big, huge bucket. And then they washed his lotus feet. And then, after taking him out from there, then they began to distribute that padajal of the pure devotee to all the audiences, and then they were satisfied. So when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur began his preaching mission around 1916, and Gaudiya Mat was just being born at that time. So as the mission unfolded, and especially after he took sannyas, and then he began to preach in Calcutta. Now, his message was very loud and clear. He was basically challenging all apasampradayas, all deviations, all misconceptions, everything. And the Brahmins, so-called, who were in charge of the different, the different places in the Dham, and they were receiving so many donations. That's why they still keep this place here, even though it's been proven by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that the real birthplace is on the other side. But still they're here. They have temple, they have everything, and they say this is where Mahaprabhu was born. Why? Because otherwise they lose. They have not proven, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur proved it absolutely. And in order to confirm... What?
Government has given sanction.
Yeah, but the government, who is the government? We don't care what the government sanctions. That doesn't make it the actual place just because the government says, oh yes, yes. I'm sure they were paid plenty of money to give that opinion, but it's not.
When Congress was ruling, the party...
When what?
When Congress was ruling India, that time...
Congress.
Congress government.
Yeah.
Sonia Gandhi. They have given sanction.
Yeah.
In their government.
So, what does that sanction do? What is the value of that sanction?
So people are confused. Confused right now.
Yes, because the government has no position in this regard. It's atheistic. And this is the problem. The problem is that there's no Brahminical class ruling in India. This is the problem, and this is always the problem throughout all history and all time and all yugas. That if there is no Brahminical class that is giving instructions to the ruling class of Kshatriyas, then the whole society will go to hell.
Head is
What?
the head is
Yeah, the what? The head of
Brahmanas are the head.
Yes. So, when Srila Prabhupada came to the Western countries, our Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he followed in the same footsteps, but he didn't have to have a big battle against the caste brahmanas and so forth. He did, because there were no. But what he told was, I have come to make brahmanas, actual brahmanas. And in line with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as the newcomers began to adopt the process of bhakti, especially in the form of chanting, Mahamantra, Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, becoming pure vegetarian, giving up, following the four regulated principles and so forth, now a transformation was actually taking place. And now the qualities, the Brahminical qualities began to manifest in these individuals. And so when Srila Prabhupada began to give Diksha and Gayatri mantras, then he declared that, as Srila Sanatana Goswami has written in his Hari Bhakti Vilas, Yata Kanchanatam something, when bell metal is mixed with mercury by an alchemical process, what? Yeah. So Vidanata. Yeah, Kangsa means bell metal. So when there's an alchemist who mixes mercury with bell metal in a certain process, then what happens to that? It's transformed into gold. And Srila Sanatana Goswami has given this exact example in regards to how through Diksha, Tata Diksha Vidanena Dvijatvam Jayate Nranam. Tata Diksha Vidanena. When a person undergoes Diksha properly from a proper source and so forth, and is following the process, Dvijatvam Jayate Nranam. That person becomes twice born. Dvija. And that person is now accepted as a Brahmana, and chanting Gayatri mantras and so forth. So this is the essential method that has been given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by the 6 Goswamis who have been empowered by him, and coming down through our line through the Bhagavat Parampara of pure, exalted Mahabhagavad Vaishnavas who are in this disciplic succession. Yeah.
Actually, when he was preaching, he had a good relation with all the Babajis. Even he belonged to even Vaishnava family. He is disciple of Bipin Bihari Goswami.
So what?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur was disciple of Bipin Bihari Goswami.
Yeah, we know.
So he had a good relation with the Vaishnavis and also Babajis, Srimad Babaji, mainly Srimad Babaji, Radharama. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was staying in Shururikunja or Samadhasputa, all the Babajis used to go and meet him. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did not like that.
But he was what? Bhaktisiddhanta what?
He did not like that.
He didn't like that.
Like their association with his father. So after Bhaktivinoda Thakur was when excavated the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
When he discovered the birthplace, yeah.
He invited all the Babajis, especially from Navadvip. Somebody where somebody can go. But when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati started making the big temples there in Jogpit, so all the Babajis there stopped making the relation with him, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and they all became against him. But during Bhaktisiddhanta times, all the Babajis used to go and talk to him. But during Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati times, Babajis they have stopped.
That's not entirely true.
It's not all.
Yes, you cannot.
All didn't stop and all didn't go. Some went, some didn't, some stopped, some didn't.
You just mentioned Radharaman Charan Das Babaji. So that personality was challenged by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Puri for his inventing this mantra Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna Hare Ram. They had very great challenge and debate. It wasn't like Bhaktivinoda Thakur just, oh yes, come, we'll be friends. No. Bhaktivinoda Thakur never compromised Siddhanta. But he may have had some less challenging relationship with these personalities. Okay. But that doesn't mean that he was accepting their nonsense. No, never he was accepting.
He didn't accept their nonsense, but Krishna challenged him.
Yes, this is the point.
He was targeted.
Yes.
In Paramatala.
That's, well, yeah, I mean, Paramatala was not the beginning of it. It was after years when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had been challenging all of them. So, yes. So the main point that I'm trying to make here is that in order to hear the higher subject matters, which is what we are actually beginning to delve into quite deeply in our class. In this class, we are going to be reading and hearing the essential subject matters that the Jaiva Dharma is ultimately leading one to, and which our Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj specifically was trying to inspire the devotees and those who have the necessary samskaras. He was trying to enable them, to help them through this Harikatha that he was giving, and through the instructions that he was giving, rejuvenating their spiritual lives. You see, so but in general, like I was saying, that Gurudev many times told that unless somebody follows the first shloka of Upadeshamrita, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Uradopasta Vegam, Etan Vegan, Yo, Etan Vegan, Yo, Vishaheta, Dhira, then Sarvam Apimam Pritivim Shashishyat. Yes, Maharaj. Can we take the mic? Take it off of the stand and give it. Yeah.
You give the example of Russia.
Turn the mic off when you're doing that. Yeah, so Russia.
Russia, there's also examples in the U.S. Prabhupada, the New Dwarka,
Yeah.
upon the Gopi Baba love, and he cut it. And you know the details.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the point is that there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place. Just give it to him in his hand. That's all. There's a time and a place. Everything is in stages. And if somebody wants to haphazardly jump forward, can you turn off and on each mic? Or if you can only turn one mic? If you turn it off, does it turn both mics off? It does. Okay, in the future we're going to get some other plug then.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if I turn this off, then that's turned off?
If I turn it on, yours is
And now, is it working? Yeah.
If I turn it on, yours is on.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now let's go into the subject matter so that we get some substance before our class is completed. So, what I want to do in this class is begin to open up the topic of Gurudev's instructions to the ISKCON leaders on the Ragvartma Chandrika, Vilap Kusumanjali, and so forth. This will be very beneficial for us as we are simultaneously reading Rag Vartma Chandrika. So these two books are going to be highlighted, but also some of the final chapters I want to read from the Jaiva Dharma. But today I want to open up the hidden path of devotion. Have you read this one? Whole thing? Cover to cover? Yeah?
I'll have to be reminded.
Sure, of course. All of us do. Have you had a chance to read it at all? Okay.
This word is that within one eye and out the other. Within one eye and out the other.
All right, so here in this book, there's a foreword, and it's called Painting the Background, so that we can understand the circumstances in which these conversations took place, where the ISKCON leaders came with respectfully to the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Raj, and when he was in his mutt in Mathura, Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt, and they inquired from him and they requested him to give them enlightening instructions, which is exactly what Srila Prabhupada wanted Srila Narayan Raj to do, which he requested him to do. So, painting the background. It was the 1960s. This is written by the publishers, but it's very good. It fills everything in. It was the 1960s, a time of search in a dark world. Disillusioned by parents, teachers, religious figures, and public leaders, disillusioned with government policies on war, human rights, and goals of life, many Western youth became attracted to left-wing political ideologies. Sounds like today. Many searched for enlightenment, not quite knowing what it would or wouldn't be like. Yeah, so this is actually written for, I can see that they're writing this foreword for persons who may not necessarily be yet practicing Vaishnavas and so forth. But because the subject matter is advanced subject. So many searched for enlightenment, not quite knowing what it would or it wouldn't be like. Though unaware of its meaning and thinking that perhaps it included promiscuous, sensuous enjoyment in the mode of animals, they searched for love, peace, and spiritual expression. They created new heroes, looking for leadership in folk singers who were freedom fighters. Experimenting with hallucinogenic and other mind-altering drugs, they only knew that they were looking for something else, something exotic and non-Western, something transcendental. So during their attempt to uncover themselves and their real self-interest, they questioned, who am I? Why am I here in this world? Why am I suffering? Why is the rest of the world suffering? Is there really a God? If so, is he the all-pervading it that is ultimately nothing? Am I that it? So the low-rent East Village area with its dilapidated Gothic landscape and history of beatnik intellectualism and anti-racism seemed to fit the bill, becoming the destination of choice for those looking to escape mainstream America. So in the East Village, America's disillusioned youth flocked to watch psychedelic light shows and hear folk rock. The hippie culture blossomed, espousing libertarianism, nuclear fatalism, Eastern mysticism, and civil rights. Well, this is all a bit like, for the Russian translation, I don't know if she'll be able to keep up with this. Yeah, okay. Now, as the months rolled by, many of the youth realized that something was amiss in this new alternative culture. And the leaders of the new culture told them that it was the industrial military complex that was to blame for the world's problems. Yet, those leaders had no plausible solutions to offer. The most lauded folk singer, Bob Dylan, sang the obvious: the times they are changing, while assuring the 60s generation that the answers are a-blowin' in the wind. But neither he nor anyone else could grab those answers from the wind and show them to the generation looking for change. So this is a nice little encapsulation of the mood of that time and how gradually Srila Prabhupada came into that environment and he planted the seed. So the next section is called Planting the Seed. It was within this countercultural setting that the great self-realized spiritual master, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, arrived from India in 1965. He settled first in uptown Manhattan, and then later he moved to the East Village. There, at the age of 70, he chose to build his first temple of Krishna consciousness and begin his task of injecting the timeless spiritual wisdom of ancient Vedic India into the searchers' hearts. And he told them, "We are not this body, we are spirit souls, part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Our only duty and our only happiness is to serve Him." Many people consider religion to be a part of general history, and certain religious movements have influenced and shaped the course of events through the ages. So in the case of the Krishna conscious movement, Krishna, the supreme founder of religion, he used social, economic, and political situations for an altogether divine purpose. Vedic teachers say it was neither the Vietnam War nor the civil rights movement that caused the people's search for transcendence. Rather, the time was ripe. Okay. Yeah, it's leading up to how after Prabhupada started the movement and then he disappeared, then from the vision of the mortal world, his intimate friend, his senior-most disciple, and his great spiritual successor, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, gave scores of discourses describing Prabhupada's glories and mission. Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj, famous throughout the world as Srila Gurudev, he gave renewed hope to thousands of those aspirants who had been previously touched by Srila Prabhupada and had now felt themselves weakened in spirit after his departure. He gave direction to those who had never personally met Srila Prabhupada, but had been inspired by his translations of the ancient Vedic literatures. And he gave life to those souls who hadn't consciously known of Prabhupada at all, but they were engaged in the illusory struggle with Krishna's powerful material nature and would later learn of Prabhupada's glory. Now, herein are some excerpts of a few of Srila Gurudev's discourses in which he shares a glimpse into his transcendental relationship with Srila Prabhupada. The following excerpt is from his discourse on May 4th, 2003. I'm going to skip over this section here. Because I basically just want, this is flowers in the foreground. They're titling this last final section. So in the early 1990s, Srila Gurudev gave hundreds of darshans for several of Srila Prabhupada's senior disciples. During those few years, they requested him to discuss some of the Gaudiya Vaishnava literatures, the essence of all the ancient Vedic literatures such as Jaiva Dharma and Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, and in particular the chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam called Ras Lila, Venu Geet, Brahmara Geet, and Gopi Geet. They also desired to hear discussions on the books Harinam Chintamani, Vilap Kushamanjali, and Rag Vartma Chandrika. Now in the year 1991, Srila Gurudev led 4 discussions on Rag Vartma Chandrika by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is considered to be the incarnation of Srila Rupa Goswami, and who came to further illuminate Rupa Goswami's mission. Years later, Srila Gurudev requested that all his morning walks and darshans be published in multi-volumes, and he directed that the 1990s darshans be published along with those. So we are thus pleased and honored by the opportunity to share these Rag Vartma Chandrika conversations in the form of this book, The Hidden Path of Devotion. We pray that you will find its deep relevance in your life, and you will forgive us for any possible mistakes in its presentation. The sound files of all these darshans are available for downloading on purebhakti.tv, where you can find a link called Rag Vartma Chandrika under the header Media Archive. So this was in 2011, so that's 12 years ago when this book was printed. So in addition to these Rag Vartma Chandrika conversations, others have also been transcribed and published in the form of books as well. These books, like Gopi Geet and Venu Geet, are available for free downloading at purebhakti.com, and they can be ordered from the bhaktistore.com. Aspiring for the service of Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, the editors, Kartik 2011. So that's how this book came to be. The subject matter and the way that Srila Gurudev is presenting it is quite amazing. And since we know very, very well these particular individuals who are coming to him, so it has a lot of relevance for senior Prabhupada disciples.
This was before they decided to extricate Gurudev.
Excommunicate?
Excommunicate Gurudev from Islam. He was still accepted in Islam.
Yes, he was. Well, to be exact, 1995. The GBC meetings in early 1995. Up to that point, they were coming to him, all through early 90s up to 94, end of 94. But I just so happened to be there in Keshavji Gaudiya Math in that year, 1994, just before Kartik. And it was the day of celebrating Vishwarup Mahotsav. And a few of these individuals actually came there. This was the final time they visited there and sat there in the presence of Srila Narayan Maharaj. He asked them to speak, and then at the end he also spoke. But what was leading up to this, that they're not going to tell here in this book, but there are other places where a lot of this history has been recorded. But there was a lot of controversy brewing, percolating in ISKCON for the year prior, for the whole year in 1994. And there were certain elements and certain individuals in the institution who were very much against and opposed to some of these ISKCON senior individuals and leaders, institutional leaders. They were opposed that they were going to hear from this person, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And why did they? Do you know what led up to that? Why did some of the devotees in ISKCON become somewhat alarmed by what was taking place? Do you know?
They began to preach that they were here.
Yes, without mentioning who it came from, and as if they had realized it. And so that was like a big red flag.
Can you repeat what he said? Because some people didn't hear him.
What he said.
Yeah, he said he wasn't giving, they weren't giving credit when they repeated this message that they heard from Srila Maharaj, that it came from Srila Maharaj.
You want to say again? That was one of the problems, but their attitude became worrisome to some of the leaders. And it appeared to them that a particular individual, who I'm not going to mention names, who had a history of wanting to dominate and control, that it appeared to them, they became worried that now he's presenting this person, Narayan Maharaj. And so there's some motive behind this. This was told to me directly by one of the ISKCON GBC members. I won't mention names right now. But they were alarmed about this, that he had some kind of plan, that, ulterior motive, and that he would gradually become the senior most person who's hearing and receiving all of this. Narayan Maharaj is an elderly person. He can leave the planet, and when he leaves, then and all of ISKCON will gradually come under Narayan Maharaj as a bona fide Siksha Guru of ISKCON, and then in the course of time, this individual who would be the nearest and recognized follower of Srila Narayan Maharaj, then he would naturally become like the Siksha Guru of ISKCON. So this is the background, which is not mentioned in this book. Huh? Yeah, whatever. After whatever. But there was some very strong worry and apprehension amongst the devotees. But what this did was it gave a wrong impression. It cast a shadow over Srila Narayan Maharaj, the personality, and also over what he was instructing. And then, as neophyte devotees generally do, they start to look at persons and they start to find fault. So this was occurring. But at any rate, this is prior to that. This book and these conversations took place. There's also a photo in the beginning where they're sitting surrounding Srila Narayan Maharaj and in a kind of mood of friendly association. So now, the following conversations with Srila Gurudev, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj on Rag Vartma Chandrika are profoundly penetrating and confidential. To prepare our respected readers for entering this elevated arena, we are presenting herein one of Srila Gurudev's discourses, which carefully introduces this sublime subject matter. The following discourse was given in Hong Kong on July 2nd, 2006. So this discourse comprises the introduction of this book. So Hong Kong, 2006. Gurudev asks, what is the true meaning of yoga? And in China at that time, a lot of the devotees were kind of supporting themselves by teaching yoga Some of them were even going from Hong Kong to the mainland of China, and they had yoga clubs and like this. And they were also asking if persons and learn this yoga, will they benefit spiritually? There were questions like that being asked to Gurudev. So now Gurudev is addressing this topic by saying, what is the true meaning of yoga? Yoga is a Sanskrit word that means connecting two things, or adding two things together. So if you want to connect two bricks together, and then cement, water, and other substances are needed. If you want to connect two bricks together, you need cement, water, like that. So similarly, real yoga is the process of connecting two persons. One being the Supreme Lord, and the other being each and every spirit soul. So forgetting the Supreme Lord, we, the embodied souls, we suffer greatly. We have passed through all the various species of life as donkeys, asses, dogs, pigs, and sometimes as demigods. So by his causeless mercy, the Supreme Lord Krishna has now given us the opportunity of this human form of life. But this form is very temporary. We do not know when we will die. We grieve because we are under the illusion that we are this body, which is a bag of urine, stool, blood, and other unwanted things. I can tell this is getting near the later lectures of Srila Gurudev, because he began to, cut jungles, cut misconceptions, give the real sauce. He began, and many times he would talk like this about how you're not this body, just like Prabhupada did. But Gurudev just came straight to the point. This body is a bag of urine, blood, stool, and other unwanted things. And we believe that we are this body, and we endeavor only to please it. So we do not try to satisfy our soul. The easiest way to meet with Krishna is through yoga. We are his parts and parcels, his eternal servants. There is no question of comparing Krishna's servants with worldly servants. However, as service to Krishna is very loving and beautiful, like that of a friend or a mother, father or son, or like the service of a lover toward his most beloved, so Krishna's eternal servants are all by nature very loving. What is taught as yoga nowadays is merely the exercise of the body. By exercising throughout our life or throughout our thousands of future lives, still we will not be happy. We will repeatedly grow old, and one day we will have to give up this body. Here, we are discussing true yoga, the ultimate connection. By what process can we meet the Supreme Lord Krishna? It is through the process of love and affection called Bhakti Yoga. By giving our love to Krishna, we can attain that perfectional stage in which we will be happy forever. But what is that process? How can we attain the stage of prema, or pure love of God? So now he quotes the verse. Do you know which one? Yes. Anyabhilashita shunyam. Jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Translation: Uttama Bhakti, or pure devotional service, is the cultivation of activities that are meant exclusively for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Or in other words, the uninterrupted flow of service to Sri Krishna performed through all endeavors of the body, mind, and speech, and through the expression of various spiritual sentiments, bhavs, which is not covered by gyan, knowledge aimed at impersonal liberation, or karma, reward-seeking activity, and which is devoid of all desires other than the aspiration to bring happiness to Sri Krishna. So this is the definition of Uttam Bhakti, or pure devotion. By this love and affection for the Supreme Lord, we can meet with Him and serve Him. The scripture states, Paranuruktir Ishware, which means deep and strong affection to Ishwar, the Supreme Controller, Sri Krishna, that this is the only transcendental religion of the soul. Paranuruktir Ishware. And then he quotes the verse from second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Pungsam. Yes. So the supreme occupation, the supreme dharma for all humanity is that by which mankind can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Spontaneous love and affection for Krishna is the transcendental and the eternal religion of the soul, which is called Parama Dharma, meaning that the transcendental and eternal religion of the soul. So the teachings of present-day religions, they are not truly Dharma. The teachings of present-day religions are not truly Dharma. If these religious teachings would indicate devotion to Krishna, Krishna Bhakti, then they would be Dharma. But most of the adherents of religions, such as Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, they don't accept the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord. They say that no qualities reside in Him. So what would be the use of accepting God if He has no mercy or attributes? If He is like zero? We do not wish to accept such fallacious ideas. Without selfish motive, we desire that whatever we do to please Krishna. We are advised to consider what I am going to do. Will it please Krishna or not? Will it please my Guru Dev? So in Bhakti Yoga we consider only if our endeavors please them will we perform those acts. We will strongly reject whatever is unfavorable for advancement in bhakti. This is Bhakti Yoga, and it begins from its smallest fraction, which is called Shraddha, faith. Yes. And then Gurudev is quoting the verse Ado Shraddha, the two verses, which tell all the levels, beginning with Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Anartha Nivritti, etc., and going all the way to praying. Yes. So here's the translation of that verse, of those two verses. In the beginning, Ado Shraddha, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. But we've also learned that where does that Shraddha come from? How does that Shraddha appear in a particular jiva and not appear in other jivas? What preceded that?
By hearing Harikatha from you,
Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, not only hearing. Hearing is part of it. But anything done, Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti, that can mean that you give a donation to a pure devotee. Or it can mean that you go into the temple and you see the deities and you want to serve, give some donation. Like this. These are all Bhakti Unmukha Sukritis. But they're not necessarily Bhakti direct bhakti. They're not direct bhakti. But only if someone has Shraddha, then they can begin on the path of bhakti. Right? So how can we know that someone has Shraddha? Or that we have Shraddha? What is the identifying outward symptom of someone that actually has Shraddha now, which Gurudev has said, it's the last fraction, it's the smallest fraction of what? Of pure bhakti, of prema. It's the last fraction of prema. So how can we know that someone has Shraddha?
Krishna Seva Vasana.
Yes. Krishna Seva Vasana. What does that mean?
The tendency to serve God.
Krishna, not God. Krishna. The tendency to serve Krishna is called Krishna Seva Vasana. If someone has that tendency, then what will take place for that person? In the very beginning, as that person comes in contact with the Vaishnavas and with the Shastras and all of this, how can we know that someone truly has some dawning of Shraddha in their heart? No, what will they do? What will these people do at that time? How will you be able to decipher, oh, this person has some Shraddha? I think book distributors are very highly experienced in meeting people right on the streets and so forth and determining, oh, this person, he has some interest, right? So, but what will happen then if that person, by that interest you can understand, oh, this person is interested, they want to hear. They have some interest in getting the book. They like this. Yeah. They seek out where I can now learn about this. I can actually enter into this. That's what they do at that stage. They seek out sadhu sangha. Yes. So, that's why ado shraddha tatak sadhu sangha. Each stage leads to the next stage in these two verses by Rupa Goswami. First, ado means in the beginning. But that shraddha is the determining factor through which that individual jiva can now begin to apply the process in their life. If they don't have a tendency to apply the process in their life, that means that their shraddha is not strong, it's not very developed. Yes, it's very, but maybe they don't even have yet what we could call shraddha. Like what if a person comes in contact with the Hare Krishna movement and so forth, but years and years go by and they never take up the process. But they come to Sunday feasts, or they associate a little bit here and there with devotees. We've met persons like that, right?
Maybe next life.
Huh?
Maybe next life you will become.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this life for those persons. Do they have Shraddha? They don't have Shraddha. No. Do they have even that tiniest little amount of Shraddha or not? Because this Shraddha is very significant. Gurudev has stated this loud and clear. Shraddha is the last fraction of prema. I remember in Singapore, we were there. The first time I heard Gurudev telling this. Shraddha is actually the last fraction, the tiniest fraction of prema. Here he's saying it's the fraction of bhakti yoga, because he's not talking about prema yet in this discussion. But Shraddha is the smallest fraction. So if someone doesn't have Shraddha, what does that indicate? That in their previous lives they didn't have very much what? Bhakti unmukha sukriti. But if someone comes, on the other hand, like the opposite case, where they immediately become very attracted and they immediately want to apply the process in their life and all of that, then what does that indicate? What? Well, at least they have true Shraddha. True Shraddha. Otherwise, they wouldn't come. Remember how Prabhupada used to always say that, some persons, they are criticizing our Hare Krishna people in society. These people don't work any jobs. And they're having big feasts and they're enjoying life. Singing, dancing. But they're not working. And of course that's not true, because they're engaged 24 hours a day and they're doing lots of different types of work. But the people see outwardly, they don't go to their work, to their jobs like this. So then Prabhupada said, and that's not only in America, that's also right here in Bengal and India, persons. So then Prabhupada said, so we invite these people. Come, you come. You sing and dance with us. You can also join us and live this lifestyle. No, I can't do. No, I can't do. Why they can't do? Why they can't do?
They're too much materialistic.
Yes, but why specifically they cannot do?
They have no taste.
Because they don't have Shraddha. They don't have Shraddha. There's many versions and many varieties and permutations of persons who don't have Shraddha, according to the culture and the country and the language and everything. But if someone has this from the previous life, doesn't matter in which country they take birth, doesn't matter where they live, doesn't matter what their external circumstances in their life are. If they have Shraddha, they will be attracted. That will draw them towards the sadhu sangha, the association of saintly persons. And in that association, what will happen? Ado Shraddha, tatak sadhu sangha, and then what? To bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya indicates that they will also accept Guru. They will accept initiation. They will begin to apply the process in their life. So those are 3 big steps, right? But luckily, Krishna is the supreme controller of every jivatma, and he places different jivatmas in different places. So Srila Prabhupada, when he came, Krishna had a great master plan, and Krishna sent a few quite capable individuals who began to have some Shraddha and some attraction to Srila Prabhupada, and they began to live the life of devotees. But that wasn't just out of nowhere. Of course, Prabhupada would also say, I have made your Sukriti, and that's true. But prior to that, there's a history of that. So, this is the process. And just a few more minutes. So now Gurudev asks the question after quoting this verse, these 2 verses. What is Shraddha? What is it? It is the strong faith that, quote, if I perform Krishna Bhakti, then the fulfillment of all other endeavors of my life will automatically be accomplished. Please tell us the meaning. And pick up the mic and tell the meaning. Break it apart.
By engaging in these activities of devotion to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then all of my material necessities and requirements will automatically be fulfilled and attained.
Mm-hmm. Yes. He's telling here, all other endeavors of my life, they'll automatically be accomplished. No need to endeavor separately. That firm faith, Vishwas. Vishwas in Bengali means what?
Belief.
Yes, belief. So, Vishwas kohe, sudridha nishchoy. What does that mean?
From faith.
Nishchoy. Certainty. You are absolutely certain. So there are 3 adjectives given in this first line. Shraddha Shabde. The word Shraddha means Vishwas kohe, that you believe. Sudridha Nishchoy. You have complete, no doubt, you are completely convinced that what? Krishna Bhakti koile, if I do bhakti to Krishna, sarva karma kritahoy. Yes, all other karmas and endeavors in life, they'll be taken care of. So Gurudev is saying this, that Shraddha is the tendency to serve Krishna. And its outer symptom is very strong faith in the words of Krishna, of scriptures, and of Guru. These are the outward symptoms. Tendency to serve Krishna. Strong faith. So how does Shraddha manifest? How does it manifest? It comes only by what? Sadhusanga. Shraddha will manifest only by sadhusanga, by being in the association of a sadhu. But this refers to a real sadhu, not to an imitation. So sadhu sangha first creates a platform of faith. No, you didn't adjust it. She always has it adjusted appropriately. We can simply put that in a place that it's not moved. It just sits there, and then everything. You have to readjust. It was so. So it comes only by sadhu sangha, by being in the association of a sadhu. But this refers to a what? A real sadhu. This refers to a real sadhu, not an imitation sadhu. So sadhu sangha first, it creates a platform of faith in the words of Krishna, Guru, and Vaishnavas. And this sadhu, the sadhu will direct the candidate for bhakti yoga. He will direct him to accept Harinam and Diksha initiation. Then the student then selects a bona fide guru and learns the process of performing bhakti. Bhakti is of 2 kinds, Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. And Vaidhi Bhakti, prem, or the development of love of God, attained by worshipping Krishna in awe and reverence. That's Vaidhi Bhakti prem. So it yields Vaikuntha Dham, the abode of Krishna in his opulent feature as Lord Narayan. So that's what comes from Vaidhi Bhakti prem, is the opulent feature and the abode of Lord Narayan, Vaikuntha. But Raganuga Bhakti takes the practitioner to where? To Krishna Dham. Krishna Dham. You are most fortunate, all of you. Gurudev's looking at his audience in Hong Kong, and he's saying, you are most fortunate to be coming in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And following in his line, one day you will be able to achieve Raganuga Bhakti by reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the books of the Goswamis. Gurudev teaches the 64 processes of bhakti. And of these, the first is to serve Gurudev, to fulfill the desire of Gurudev, and thus be able to follow the process without deviation. So of the 64 processes of bhakti, 9 are prominent. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So in this way, they've quoted in the beginning of this book a more introductory level and a more basic introductory explanation given by Srila Gurudev. And of course, Gurudev has done that many times in his travels throughout the world, this kind of level of instruction. But it's interesting that Gurudev has come to the point of mentioning about Raganuga Bhakti and how one can come to that point of Raganuga Bhakti. And later on, he begins to talk about that in much, much more depth, which we'll read in the next class. And he's talking about Ruchi and Nishta and so forth. So, and then he's talking about the eternal associates. So that is a few more pages. We're going to complete that because it's very helpful for entering into, straight away for entering into these discussions with these ISKCON senior persons and the questions that they ask to Gurudev to understand. They've come to him to learn about what? Raganuga Bhakti. And Gurudev, as we already heard, he spent a few hundred hours with them. Not a short period of time. And he very clearly elucidated a few of the different books coming in our line, like we just read the titles of them. So, Srila Gurudev wanted to now give this essential information so that the general mass of devotees, hearing from the leaders, that they would then instruct the others. Even Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he told more than once that I want to preach to the preachers. It is not my desire to preach to all. I want to preach to the preachers, and then the preachers will preach to all. Like this, position of Siksha Guru. So in this way, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj was requested by Srila Prabhupada to help his disciples after his departure from the world. And this is exactly how he began to help them. But Krishna had a great master plan, that he wasn't only going to sit in Mathura and go over these books and so forth with these small little number of persons who in themselves, not all of them were entirely sincere and ready to do what was necessary to embrace this pathway. But Krishna had a big master plan. And it was very interesting for those of us who were there at that time to watch how it unfolded. And how Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj now became strongly impelled to travel to the far corners of the world. What?
How many countries?
Fifth, we don't know the number of countries, you can count them. But for 15 years, he traveled both the eastern side and the western side.
Mostly he covered all the European parts, like Europe, Asia,
Yeah, but you have to hear the list, okay? In America, he went to several places. In Europe, he went to several places. In Africa, he went to only one place. In Australia, he also went to maybe 4 or 5 different locations. Huh? Well, Australia and New Zealand, taking them together. Fiji, Australia, New Zealand. South America, he went to Brazil and he went to Costa Rica. No other country in South America. That's not South America. Yes, he went to Mexico and he also went to Canada. So that pretty much covers it. That's America. Southeast Asia is a big one. Yeah, Gurudev spent quite a bit of time in Southeast Asia. He went first of all, and most often he went to Malaysia and Singapore because he was invited to do his writing retreats in Singapore. So he came to Malaysia quite a few times, Bali, he was going to come, but they put a lot of obstacles in Bali. Fiji, he went 2 or maybe 3. Yeah, at least 2 times he went to Fiji. Yeah, and New Zealand, he went maybe 3, 4 times. Australia, more, because it's a bigger place and there were many other cities that he traveled to. So, yeah, he covered the globe and went to most of the major cities, most of the major cities. And England, he went quite a few times, UK. France, Germany, Holland, Spain, what other? Italy, yeah, Italy he went to quite a bit. No, he went only to those countries. So, no. Oh, China. He is actually the only Mahabhagavad Vaishnava that placed his lotus feet in the vast region of mainland China. Mainland China, the Hong Kong is not mainland China. Everything other than Hong Kong and a couple of places on the coast, they were independent from mainland China, but then mainland China, they had some contract for so many years, and then mainland China took it over again. But it's still more or less open, So, but when Gurudev came one year, they actually arranged. He had an invitation from some Buddhist monk person that enabled him to actually get a visa and come into mainland China. And what they did was they hired. I wasn't there. They hired a hotel room, and they kept all the curtains down so that no one could see inside. And then, at least about 100 or more Chinese devotees came to see him, maybe even up to 200, but they had to come in. They couldn't all come at once. They controlled it in that way. So, but that's the only time. Gaur Govinda Maharaj didn't come, Srila Prabhupada didn't come. No other Gaudiya exalted, Guru Acharya figures went to mainland China. Only Srila Gurudev did. And for Africa, Prabhupada went to Kenya. I don't know if he went to South. I don't think he went to South Africa. I'm not sure. But Kenya, he went, and a few times he went there to Africa. So that's the score. That's the scoreboard. And Srila Gurudev, in 15 years, he did about 32 world tours. They counted. When he would leave India, and then he would go and travel to several countries. He did 32 world tours, which is more than any other preacher, including our Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada really only traveled around the world from about 1967 or 68 for like 9 or 10 years. But Prabhupada traveled very extensively during that time. Very extensively he traveled. And it was constant, always traveling. He didn't, like Gurudev, when he went to the West, he was also doing writing retreats, But in Prabhupada's case, he would wake up in the middle of the night and translate his books. Wherever he went, he would do that. So anyway, the Hare Krishna movement is alive and well, and has extended to all corners of the globe now. And of course, it's still in the beginning phases in most places. However, Mahaprabhu has a very, very powerful plan that is going to catapult the velocity and the speed at which this will go to the whole world. So that's this era coming right now. Everything will happen. Huh? Speak a little slower. It's like one, Srila Gurudev what?
Srila Gurudev used to say.
Srila Gurudev what?
Srila Gurudev used to say, Narad Muni
Yes.
was a gopi frog.
Had what?
He had a gopi frog. Narad Muni.
Yes.
He has a gopi frog. But, and he said that also, he quoted that he starts the Puranas and he quoted that frog when he used to start the Manjuris because he has a close connection with Radha Krishna. But although he used to chant, Narad Muni always chants Narayan. But did he practice Vaidhi Bhakti? Does he practice Vaidhi Bhakti or Raganuga Bhakti?
Look, Narada Muni is the guru of gurus of gurus of gurus, okay? You don't think that Narada Muni was practicing the highest, most intimate form. Otherwise, how did he become Naradiya Gopi? You think that happened just by practicing some kind of Vaidhi Bhakti?
But he does not chant Narayana.
How do you know what he chants?
But generally we know that Narada.
What do you mean generally we know? Generally who knows? Yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that song has told directly. Radhika Ramana
But he
Nami.
has close connection with Vaikuntha, not
That's all.
Who is not a Mongol?
Yeah, you don't know the whole picture.
That's why I'm telling you. No?
You're telling?
I'm telling you to describe. Asking me to describe this.
No, you're telling what you think you know.
That to throw some light on it.
Yeah, but okay. But anyway, just to complete our class today. So Narada Muni, he is what appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam is a pastime. How an eternal associate of Krishna from Goloka Braj has come within this world, and eventually becomes Narada Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, who travels to anywhere in the spiritual or material worlds. But what is the origin of that individual, Jiva, that person named Narada Muni? What is his original origin? Have you heard?
Yeah, before he was a maid servant of...
No. He is an expansion of one of Krishna's most intimate sakhas named Madhumangal. Madhumangal in Goloka Braj has expanded in that form of Narada. So Narada Muni, he also has some aspect in which he goes to see Lakshmi Narayan and so forth. But Narada Muni, if you read the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he's always again and again and again and again, he's appearing in Braj. He even appears to Kamsa to try to inspire Kamsa so that Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's descent and all of that can be hurried up. So Narada Muni is an inconceivably exalted eternal associate of the Supreme Lord. So we can't judge only by the fact that he in different situations he will worship Lakshmi Narayan. No, but we also know, right near Radhakunda is Narada Kunda. And that Narada Kunda is where Sri Narada Muni received a gopi form. There, Naradiya Gopi. Okay, so we're finishing now. Yes? Yes?
The level of anarchical community, it is like goes separately or it goes along with the level of Shraddha.
Okay, good.
Which symptoms of anarchicality?
Okay, so first of all, we should understand that Anartha Nivritti is mentioned by Rupa Goswami as a particular stage. First stage, second stage, like this. However, when one begins to associate with sadhus and hear Krishna Katha, from that moment onwards, anarthas are gradually being eliminated. when it's called the Nartanavritti stage, prior or just before the stage of Nishta, firm faith. So that stage is simultaneously going on as the devotee is practicing bhajana kriya, practicing the limbs of bhakti under the guidance of Guru and so forth. So without that practice, anartanavritti will not take place. Anartanavritti is taking place because of practicing the limbs of bhakti, regular hearing, chanting, and all. You see? So you're asking, what are the symptoms of anartanavritti? You asked that question. What are the symptoms of someone? Well, first of all, there are different stages of anartanavritti. You know that. There are different types of anartas. There are different types of anartas, yes. We'll go into that in another class. But there are 4 different categories of anartas, and in each category there are 4 types. So 4 times 4 is 16. And also what is the meaning of the word anartha? Anartha means something that is not artha. It is not necessary. It is something that is unwanted also. So it's an impediment, anarthas. And this is the cause of the conditioned souls remaining within illusory, materialistic life in the material world, because they have so many anarthas. So the process of bhakti gradually eliminates the anarthas. And one thing to know is that there's stages of the anarthas being removed. 5 stages of these anarthas gradually being removed. And the different types of anarthas are also removed at different speeds. Some of them are removed in the earlier stages more. Some of the anarthas are removed in the later stages of bhakti. Like this takes time. So we should always know that as we are practicing our bhajan kriya, in daily practices of bhakti, so our anarthas are gradually being, they're leaving. Krishna is cleaning our heart. There are many shlokas. We're not going to get into that right now. But like Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna. Krishna, he sees that this jiva is hearing Harikatha, is hearing about me, Krishna Katha. Oh, I will clean his heart. So Krishna does that. So we never have to worry. Our heart is always continually being gradually cleaned. And when it becomes more and more cleaned, then we can come to the stage of Nishta, firm faith. That's the beginning of Madhyam Adhikar. Madhyam Adhikar stage begins at Nishta. Yeah. Yes, hearing Harikatha is part of the process of bhajana kriya. And sadhusanga. Yes. Both are going on. Sadhusanga, bhajana kriya, anartanavritti. All 3 of these are going on, and then finally comes nishta. Not all anarthas are eliminated in the stage of nishta, but very large percentage of the anarthas, they are already eliminated as one goes through the stage of nishta. And so in this way, gradually, purification, continual purification is going on. And so if we stay in this process with firm faith, if we continue to practice this, there is no doubt that we will reach perfection. Gradually, we will go through each one of the stages and we will attain perfection. ultimately ruchi, asakti, bhav, and prem. All of these will be attained in succession, in due course. You see?
So if some devotees sometimes follow, sometimes do not follow, so it is because of their practice.
Partly, but they also have free will. We cannot forget. But because they have anarthas, so their free will becomes very weak, and they become controlled by Maya. Yes, not good samskaras, but also bad association. In the stages of developing bhakti, even from the beginning, we have to associate with devotees. But if we are doing too much association with the non-devotees and not enough association with the devotees and hearing from pure devotees, then there is possibility that there can be deviation. Someone can stop practicing, they can stop chanting, they can stop reading, they can stop associating like that. It means that they've fallen down. But they can again come back. If anyone falls away, they can again come back. But we should know that the samskaras from the previous life, they're also helping us if we have some samskaras from previous life and also in this life. If we stayed very, very firm practicing, then samskaras also develop in this life, and that will help us. So, in English language we have the word weakness. Weak. If a person is strong, and the opposite of strong is weak. So Gurudev used to tell us, and he would travel, and he would see the devotees, and he would say, "Don't be weak. Don't be weak." He would say that. Which means what? Don't give up the practice. Continue practicing, continue associating like this. Be careful not to commit aparad and offenses. Because aparad is one of the types of anarthas, aparad. It's a big one. We have to be careful not to commit offenses. So like this. But we are fortunate that we are, especially those of us who are in this room, we have come to the place where sadhu sangha is available, in the holy dham, in a very powerful spiritual atmosphere like this. So we should take advantage of this. Yes. And then our life will always be very auspicious. Yes. We should do. Okay? Okay. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Om Brindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Kesavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.